Walk into two different rooms. The first one is clean. Nothing obviously wrong, but something feels off. You can't explain it, you just don't want to stay long. The second room looks similar, same furniture, same light, but the moment you step in, something shifts. You slow down, you feel more focused, more put together. Nothing dramatic happened. No one said anything. Nothing changed visually, but something in your brain made a decision before you even realized it. And a big part of that decision was smell. We like to think we're logical, that we walk into a space, observe it, and then decide how we feel. But that's not how it works. Your brain scans a room in seconds, not just visually, but through atmosphere. And smell is one of the fastest signals it uses to answer a simple question. Am I in control here or not? Think about the last time you walked into a high-end hotel, before you noticed the design, before you looked at the furniture. You felt something. Calm, clean, structured. Almost like everything was handled. That feeling didn't come from the couch or the lighting. It came from something much less obvious. A carefully controlled environment, including scent. Now compare that to a space that's slightly off. Maybe it's clean, but the air feels heavy, or stale, or undefined. Nothing is wrong, but your brain doesn't relax. And here's the key part most people don't realize. You don't just react emotionally to that, you change your behavior. In a space that feels right, you speak more confidently, think more clearly, move with more intention. In a space that feels off, you rush, lose focus, feel slightly uncomfortable. And you never connect it back to the environment. You just think, I'm not in the mood today. But your brain already made that decision before you even sat down. This is why smell matters more than people think. Not because it's pleasant, but because it tells your brain what kind of place you're in. And more importantly, what kind of person you are in that place. There's a subtle shift that happens. If your environment feels structured, clean, intentional, your brain mirrors that. You start acting like someone who belongs in that space. But if the environment feels random, undefined, or neglected, your brain lowers the standard. You don't rise to your goals, you drop to your surroundings. This is why successful environments are never neutral. They are designed to send signals, quiet ones, invisible ones, but powerful enough to shape behavior. And smell is one of the strongest of those signals, because unlike visuals, you can't easily ignore it. You don't look away from a smell. It goes straight into your system. Now here's the interesting part. Most people think they need motivation, more discipline, more focus. But often, the real problem is much simpler. They're trying to perform at a high level inside an environment that doesn't support that state. Imagine trying to work in a space that feels stagnant, even if it's clean, even if everything is technically fine. Your brain still reads, nothing is happening here, and you behave accordingly. Now imagine the opposite, a space that feels intentional, clear, fresh, structured. Your brain reads, this is a place where things move, and you adjust instantly, without effort. That's the part people miss. It's not about forcing yourself to change, it's about removing friction. And smell plays a role in that because it's tied to something deeper than thought. It's tied to state. There's a reason certain routines work so well. Morning coffee, fresh air, clean space. It's not just habit, it's conditioning. Your brain starts linking those sensory signals to a specific mode of operation. Focus, clarity, action. Over time, that link becomes automatic. You don't think, I need to get into the zone. You enter the space, and the state follows. And this is where it all comes together. Success isn't just built through actions, it's built through repeated states. And those states are shaped by your environment. So when people say, I just need to be more disciplined, what they often mean is, I'm trying to operate in a space that constantly pulls me in the opposite direction. And sometimes, the difference between those two rooms at the beginning, the one you wanted to leave, and the one where you felt in control, isn't effort. It isn't mindset. It isn't even visible. It's something much simpler, something you barely notice. But your brain does. Every time. The air you're in is quietly telling you who you are in that moment, and whether you realize it or not, you're listening.